My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the ladder streak. How's it going, bud?
It's going awesome. I'm excited to revisit Ironclad.
It damn well sounds like it. I am excited to revisit Ironclad because we did a couple interesting things in Ironclad last time. The feed, the strength stacking.
Did we take perfected strike? It feels like years ago. My sense of time is so twisted now.
I think we did, and I think I was trying to push towards like the perfected strike build. But eventually we kind of just peeled out of that.
Yeah, that's about what I think it's good for, actually. It's kind of your Act 1, 2, and part of 3 Gambit.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. An interesting floor, to be sure. Also some really interesting starting options here.
I like to call this map the Elites Convention. This is like Elites Convention at floor 6. Although, you can do a triple. You can do a triple.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're perfectly lined up, like in a marching line or something, and you can only take the one. But there's a really solid line here, actually. I see 3 fires, 3 elites with a triple fight merchant start. Looks really strong. 3
fires, 3 elites with the triple merchant start. So the triple, then the merchant, then cutting out to this line?
Yeah, that's a really solid, high-power, safe line. And it gives us the option to cut left towards Empowered, I guess.
Mm-hmm. My only concern there is the option I want to take here is lose all gold.
Rare card start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we could go for an early question mark instead.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing, but no shop. Depending on how strong the card is. You want to do it? Let's go rare card. Rare card stop. It's cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm curious what you take here. This screen hurts me. It hurts me.
Ooh, I'd like to know why it hurts you, but before that, I will tell you what I would take. And basically, it would be which archetype have I played most recently.
Really? Okay.
I like the barricade, entrench, body slam. It's so reliant on getting the entrench, getting the barricade early, having the energy to play it, those kinds of things.
It's a heavy core. It's hard to pull together. It used to be like one of the most common ways that I won. And now at Ascension 20, it's like the thing I do the least.
Mm-hmm. I also like corruption more and more as it doesn't have to synergize much with anything in the deck. It's just half of your deck is now free.
That's right. It's one of the best cards in the game. It's incredibly strong.
We also do have a line of 3 elites.
Yep.
And this just guarantees our damage for them already.
It does.
I'm kind of leaning towards the bludgeon.
So I can almost guarantee that if it were not us together, but just me sitting by myself at Ascension 20, I would click on this bludgeon and then cry for like 3 floors. Because corruption is like a top 3, top 5 favorite card in the game for me. I think it's really fun to play and ludicrously strong. But yeah, I think this is bludgeon.
Okay, cool. Very much.
And then we just like fight really hard and hope that we get the corruption later.
Oh, it's coming.
It's gonna come back to us. It's just waiting, you know.
Yeah, we didn't turn it down. We just said later.
We asked to take a rain check.
One thing I really love about the Ironclad is just the ability to take 6 damage in a fight.
Yeah.
Don't even gotta care about it. Twin strike.
I actually think the Ironclad. Oh yeah, what do you take here? I actually really like this blood for blood, which I know sounds strange.
You know what? I'm going to take it before you take that back because I never take blood for blood. And I'm very interested to do it.
Oh, do you want to take 20 damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. I think we can. Yeah, the blood for blood actually, like, the blood for blood makes me some significant % more confident that we beat Hexaghost. Because I can play blood for blood and bludgeon on the same turn. And once I've taken burn damage, like, a couple times, right?
Ooh.
Huh. I like having a cleave in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
This is always the deck where I look at Seeing Red and I'm like, can I take you? Like, is it acceptable to take a Seeing Red without corruption, without Dark Embrace, without Feel No Pain, without Dead Branch? Like, is that actually acceptable?
I like another time where I'll take a Seeing Red is just like with a Battle Trance in the deck or with like 2 Shruggadoffs.
Yeah. Letter Opener, you know. I still think this is. Man, this might be skip. Is it ever skip? Do you think it's ever skip?
My worry is that like if we've got the one big damage card in bludgeon, and I guess Blood for Blood eventually becomes one big damage card.
Yeah.
Sentinels, rather, are a huge problem for us because we have to wait for, what, 4 deck cycles to actually be able to kill them?
The counterpoint is that you just hit them with Bludgeon, and that kills one of them, and then you've only got 10 cards to cycle through, right? So your Bludgeon becomes single target AoE, in a way. You've got, like, a guaranteed kill. It's just particularly bad for... Honestly, I'm more worried about quintuple slimes and quadruple gremlins. Those are fights to where just a bludgeon is really not enough.
1, 2, 3. That's
a hard fight.
Yeah. Oh, if that's gremlins, I'm gonna be mad. I want the cleave.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The gremlins have ended so, like, 4 gremlins have ended so many of my runs.
Oh yeah. And lots of times you don't die there, but you take some ludicrous amount of damage and then you die. You will have died there, even if you didn't die there.
Yeah, you died and you didn't realize it yet.
Yeah. So you were talking about the fact that Ironclad can just take 6 damage, and it occurs to me, literally in this moment, this is not a thought that I've ever had before, but that Ironclad may be, I think Skip, right? Ironclad may be the starting class, because a lot of times people come to me and they're like, isn't Ironclad the easiest class, but I've been losing? And I maintain that actually Ironclad is kind of tough. I think it feels really strong because of the heal and the earlier ascensions, but as you climb, you realize that the deck building is kind of precise. But I wonder if Ironclad and the starting relic are the first class to teach you to use health as a resource.
I would imagine so.
Right? Because so many people come into the game and they're like, oh, I'm really, I don't understand. I'm struggling. Like, I block really well, and then I've taken all this damage. And a lot of times the answer is it's because you're blocking too well, right? It's like this is actually a good example of a fight. Was it correct to just play bludgeon?
It was.
10 damage. Yeah. So Ironclad teaches you that, right? Oh, this double tap is so good.
I love it.
This double tap is very good.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
It will get better soon if we can find some energy. Pray for Snecko. Nice lead. Holy crap.
I think it is that over the just bludgeon, right?
Yeah. I mean, what was that? That's 1648 damage. So just like by pure numbers, it's higher. Ends the fight faster. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll take the instant kill though. Plus, it just buffs up our next Blood for Blood to take that damage.
Exactly. I think Blood for Blood's a fun card to play around. I think Blood for Blood, Centennial Puzzle, any card or relic that encourages me. Oh, Static Discharge, Emotion Chip. Anything that like makes it's strategic to take a small amount of damage. This is like the best Happy Flower ever, by the way. This Happy Flower is so unassuming and like maybe one of the best relics we could have just found. This deck is a bludgeon and a double tap.
You know what would actually be surprisingly good right now? An unupgraded Warcry.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be. This is one of those times where that kind of deck manipulation is just potentially really strong. I like that.
I want the combustion.
You want the combust?
Yeah,
Plays nicely with
more
Blood.
AoE, blades for Blood and Blood. Yeah.
In fact, a cleave and a combust is probably enough to feel confident about Gremlin Leader next act. Yeah, it's good.
So here's the question, because we're not going up against the Sentinels in the next area. So is it an upgrade on Bludgeon before we go in?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
It's a ton of damage. We're above the threshold for Gremlin Knob, especially with the weak potions. Same with a couple hits of Lagavulin. And that's a ton of damage. It's a huge upgrade. Oh, and we get the Bash Opener too?
Yep. Come on.
Yo.
No!
Unlucky. So then, is it don't do damage?
Yeah.
Because we can double tap Bludgeon? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's going to be so good.
There's Happy Flower doing the thing that we asked it to.
Happy Flower.
It's ridiculous. I think this relic is really strong. I think a third of an energy is... It's actually not a third of an energy, right? It's one more energy. It's like... I don't know. Oh, nice. And we have lethal, too.
It's not bad, but that was a fair bit of damage to take. Ooh, Bloodwild. Show me the magic flower, please.
Right, no lie. And we haven't done any strike removal, and I wonder, is this ever one of those runs to where I love this anger, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah, is this ever one of those runs where we hold out on removals for like full bite value? I don't know. Oh man, it's got to be upgrade and rest, right? It's got to be. Yeah, it's just so much value.
Hit the anger. Great.
Shining Light is one of the events that gets harder at Ascension 15. Ascension 15 is unfavorable events. This is less for you. I know you know this, Rhapsody, but for those of you who are like watching and learning through the ladder series, because I think that's a legitimate thing to do with the ladder is look at the ways that the Ascensions change. Ascension 15 is unfavorable events. And one of the events that changes is that one. Shining Light goes from doing that amount of damage, which I think is actually percentage based, right? But for an Ironclad start, it goes from 16 to 21 or 23. It's like a substantial increase in damage. I'm into a skip.
Yeah, cool.
I don't feel like putting more anger into the deck is the line. It's nothing but sentries.
I mean, might as well dilute our own deck with the Yangas instead.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Do we...
And that's low enough that even if we don't draw Bludgeon, we've got the lethal.
Do we ever, like, allow ourselves to take the damage in this fight, not rest here, instead upgrade a card, use the regen potion in the finals so that we can get... Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That's such value. I think a regen potion trade for an upgrade is a really strong trade. And I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Oh, unlucky draw. Oh, maybe
it's super lucky because we have the combust.
Yeah, you're right. Combust and 4 energy.
So the Hexacoast's attack on turn 2, is there ever a position where you end up purposefully taking damage in a previous fight so that that's not as impactful?
Gosh, heuristically no, right? Like, the most that you can do, the best case is that you take 1 extra damage in order to take 6 less damage on that turn. And the number of times where you can perfectly line that up, man, that is funny. This is a super strong relic also.
Yeah, it's huge, but it unfortunately will actually make the Hexaghost hit us harder.
Yeah, but it's always half, right? It's not keeping up with your total life, so we're still better served to have it than to not. It's just funny that it gets kind of immediately partly countered. Nice opener too, actually.
It's not
I guess
bad.
like we get another kill, and yeah, it's not bad.
Whew.
Scary fight. This was one of the ones that we knew, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had that, and we also had the Gremlins, so very glad that we positioned ourselves against them.
We fought 5 elites in this act.
And not only that, actually, 2 of the elites were sentients. So like that early cleave pickup actually really paid dividend.
I'm gonna note the Freudian slip here. In this moment, the amount of Monster Train that you've played becomes eminently clear because you called them sentients instead of sentries, which is awesome. I'm not even mad.
No. I'm afraid that I have to tell you, that's something I've been doing since the 2nd episode of Slay the Spire. I have been corrected so many times, and almost all of the time I call them sentinels rather than sentries.
That's so fun. No, you said sentient.
Oh, okay.
Not sentinel. Sentient is the awoken boss, right? The awoken champion. So sentients, sentinels, and sentries. This is our next series.
Oh, I can't wait for it.
Rhapsody, Sentinels, Sentries, and Sentience. Oh god, now I can't even remember all the words.
And the ladder streak.
And the ladder streak also. Yeah, what do you think?
I don't want to take the Havoc.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
See, it synergizes with the stuff that I already naturally want to put in the deck of the ability to control the top of my next hand with the Warcry and stuff like that.
Talk to me about this though. What fights are you worried about? Like, do you think if we take nothing, do we beat Hexaghost?
Yes, but I think if we take nothing, we die to the first slavers. Okay.
This deck doesn't stall, so I was actually going to suggest fire breathing, but I'm not going to because it's not this. Unlike the last time we played Ironclad, this deck fails to support it meaningfully, right? The fights where it's really good, potentially, like Second Cycle, Tri-Slavers, or Book of Stabbing, we just don't have any block. We've added no block, right? I like this Havoc. I think this Havoc is a good idea. I think you're right. The Armaments is worth at least thinking about, but...
Oh, I assure you I thought about it for a couple milliseconds there.
You got your full 2 milliseconds out, huh?
I'm thinking about the Bash. Extra turn of vulnerability.
Yeah. I feel really strongly that if there's one upgrade that dramatically increases our chances of winning this fight and Book of Stabbing, it's that one. Because 3 turns of vulnerable makes it so much more likely that we line up the bludgeon on the vulnerable. That's an extra 21 damage or something.
Mm-hmm. Got 2 cycles. Double tap a single strike is probably not going to be that great.
When do we upgrade double tap? Do we upgrade double tap? What if you double tap Havoc? Will the double tap will it hit our strike plus?
It would if we happen to get it. It's just a 50-50.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool line.
It's not bad. It will be a good way to do it for the bludgeon later on, possibly.
Yeah, yeah. It's just fun to think about stuff like that. You never know when you're going to find some tiny little line that bails out a run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're way on pace.
Yeah, extremely.
Bludgeon. Oh, blood for blood. Good hit.
Not bad. And we've almost certainly got the bludgeon next turn. And the happy flower! Oh, please!
Oh my gosh.
No!
Oh. Well, we'll still have vulnerable because of the bash upgrade.
Ooh,
so
do we want to dilute the deck a little more with the angers?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're just getting the kill now.
To weigh out those burns.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have evolve. We don't have any other draw mechanism. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter because we just win. Oh my.
Well, we already have a double tap in the deck.
Yeah, we do.
But
yeah,
this did come back to us. But we also don't have any skills in the deck at the moment. Not really.
But it's gonna come back again, Rhapsody.
Oh,
it's
is it?
Come back again. Yeah, this is like, I've seen this before. We're gonna see it again. Take the you love the Reaper, right? You gotta love the Reaper.
You have to.
Yeah.
In particular, I'm looking at the Reaper and I'm like, we picked up no block cards that entire time. This represents like reactive block rather than proactive block.
I've seen Reaper be all the block that you need to beat the heart, and that's already a question that I'm asking, right? Is like, how do we go from smorking the mid game to actually winning in the late game? And Reaper is one of those cards that can potentially get you there, and it actually lets us be more aggressive in the mid game too. So
this double tap, the cleave, the zero cost angers, all of these kinds of things are pushing us also not just like value cards to put alongside the bludgeon so you can take out small targets and AoE targets, but they're also pushing us towards strength. And with the Reaper, I'm feeling real good about like getting some inflames in this deck.
Because bludgeon is generally not going to carry you through the end game. I've seen it happen. I had one of my first Ascension 20 heart wins was like 3 bludgeons and a Snecko Eye, and that was just enough damage because you draw through your whole deck all the time, right? But generally, that's not going to happen. Can I give a diatribe about Runic Cube?
Oh, please do.
Okay, this is one of my favorite children, and I wish that more people would give this relic the time of day. Ironclad is energy hungry and generally draw starved. Ironclad has a very limited arsenal of ways to actually push through the deck. And they tend to be really good. Like a Battled Trance is solid, and a Burning Pact is a card that I take very often. Runic Cube is a card that says something in particular. It says, every time you play a card against the heart, draw 1. Unfortunately, it does also have one pretty nasty side effect with Combust. Combust draws us a card at the end of the turn and then immediately throws it away. If Combust and Runic Cube work together synergistically, this would be like even better than it is. And right now, with only a Combust in the deck, I think it would be hard to take. But I just want to note that I've taken an Act 1 Runic Cube before, and it won the run because of the power that it has, and specifically the heart fight. So I think this relic is really cool, and I don't think a lot of people think about that synergy.
Were you already running a deck that was okay with taking the Runic Cube at that point, or was it a pick for the heart?
It was kind of both. It was a little bit experimental. I already had like an offering, and I think it might have been a weird run to where, you know, one of these cases to where you took a Rupture in Act 1 because you're just looking for some kind of scale. You took a Rupture, and then you like took a Brutality, or I think I might have even taken what crap, I can't even remember, Bloodletting. The 0 cost, take damage, get an energy. It's like a pretty generally unimpactful card, right? But when it says also draw a card, it's a little better. It's a little better at that point, right? So, but yeah, it was an Act 1 Runic Cube that really worked. Most of the time I'm taking this in Act 2 though, when the deck's already online and I'm looking for that card drawn in game. So I just wanted to talk about it. I don't know that it's the pick here.
No. I'm glad that you took the opportunity to talk about it, because it is definitely something that I'll get to a screen like this and I'm like, oh, it's weird. I was only offered 1 boss relic. Click, go.
Right.
And
totally.
you've made the case for Calling Bell before, in particular with something that I didn't even know of: common, uncommon, rare. You get rare. 1 of each for the relics.
That's right.
And
rare
really
relics tend to be very defensive. Yeah. I'm good with Fusion Hammer though. We're really energy hungry.
We've got a lot of need for energy, but also
Yes.
most of the cards in this deck that want to be upgraded are like Havoc and Double Tap are obviously lacking, but
Yes.
and Combustion, but still.
Yeah, but honestly, I think the potential that we get out of that to push, the most awkward bit is that with Pantograph, we really need to use our health because we've got so much sustain. So resting is like we're already getting 8 health per fight, and then also 25 at the end of the act. So yeah, we're definitely going to be looking to convert that energy and some HP into like a lot of power.
Should we be looking for a line next floor that deprioritizes fires for that reason?
Yeah, or at least highly prioritizes danger, right? Like we want to take our 4 energy double tap bludgeon reaper deck into as many elites as the game will let us.
I gotta tell you, I also want to go to the question marks, because if we get, like, there's 2 obvious ones. There's, you know, the Necronomicon from the Cursed Tome event, but I talk about that every time. But if we get to the Colosseum, this dunks them.
Yeah, and actually it's pretty good at, I call it, I don't know, what is it called? Masked Bandits? I call it Romeo and Juliet. And there's no
I
Juliet.
call it the Red Mask.
Okay, the Return of the Red Mask, yeah. It's actually a good relic, and it's relevant to Ironclad, who frequently is coming in hot and taking a bunch of damage on turn 1. And we can definitely take that fight really well.
Well, we're going to have to discover whether or not we see that fight and whether or not we take it well in the next video. Linked in the description down below. Hope to see that.